actually record content. We've got ourselves Illusionless Strife here, the second set of Divines. Super interesting set, which you wouldn't know from the box because it makes you think that the only things available here are Zorga and Liel, when there's like 4 brand new decks in here, as well as support for a lot of other decks. But in any case, let's jump into this. So let's go ahead and open this thing up. This set has been kind of interesting because for me personally, it's one of those sets that, as you know, has happened I think a couple of times. I'm just super excited for it initially, and due to the, you know, English release schedule, a bunch of things have come out in Japan since this set has come out now in English, and I'm kind of looking past it, unfortunately. But there's still a lot of crazy stuff in this set. So first things first, we have the return of the box topper promos. These are kind of interesting where they're not like insane bangers as the previous 2 or 3, but these are decent because they're reprints from shop promos that we've had in the past. So if you didn't get them back then, you can now get them super easy. Unfortunately, a lot of these are going to get reprinted in 2 weeks in Festival Collection, so it's kind of a weird decision, but we're going to get ourselves the Ezo promo card here, as well as the Friendship Fairy, who it kind of makes sense to reprint this to an extent because this was really expensive for no reason once they announced the Magnolia Elder, or just Magnolia Elder, I guess, specifically support. And then we got ourselves the Quintets collab in this set, which is a little frustrating because I've opened up a box before this and some sneak peek packs, and I keep getting a bunch of these damn girls. And this is nothing against them specifically or fans of them, but kind of don't want to see them right now. I kind of want to see other stuff. But in any case, every box comes with the starter for them. It's a bit annoying because this is a sort of like nationless card, so you can technically use this in any deck, but you only can get the effect of drawing if you went second if you're playing quintets, which is kind of silly. You know, I don't see the issue with this being just generic, where fans of quintets can play it in other decks. Like, oh no, they get to play something that's not the collab deck. What a tragedy that would be, huh? But we got ourselves here the actual packs here, with, you know, show whatever the hell his last name is on the box art with Vladimir, who is not even on the back of the box. Usually the back of the box has like all of the new decks and stuff, but they didn't even do that this time. They just got real low key and just went with only the faded ones, which is kind of funny. But he was like lined up to be the boogeyman, right? Everyone was really worried about Vladimir once he was announced and revealed. Everyone was trying to like quit the game because he's so broken, and then he came out. Turns out you can't just overreact as soon as something's revealed. But we're going to try something a little bit different here, because we're going to take all of these packs here and make it into this giant mega pack here, where we're just going to take a look at all of these cards in one fell swoop. So first up we have here Drag Ritter of Flame Blade. Really weird name guy. We're just gonna call him his original name, which is Graya. This is for a new deck called Gwyandra, which I'm really excited about, because essentially you have a grade 1 and a grade 2 from the ride line that you pull out whenever you are in main phase with the grade 3, and then the grade 2 can actually attack from the back row, and then you fuse them back together into their like fused up form, which is the art on the grade 3. So it's really cool. It's kind of like Luan to an extent, and I'm a big fan of Luan. Super cool new deck here, along with here the Rising Star, which I'm just going to call Virginia here, which is another new deck in this set. This one isn't as fleshed out because it's really just the ride deck and a order card, but this is actually from the Koto manga that we have right now in Vanguard, and there's actually going to be a standalone deck product that's come out in Japan that has a bunch of brand new cards specifically, well, somewhat specifically for this deck. Some of them are actually kind of generic, and it actually reprints the energy generator. So I'm hoping that comes out in English as well. Here's the grade 2, so this is Andra. So you take Graya and Andra and fuse them together. Super cool. Here's the grade 0. Here's the quintets. There are each in every nation except Lyrical. And the way that they work is that I think you get the deck focused on each of these specific quintets, right? And then all the cards is just them. And I think they each get an order, the ride line, and then they get a grade 2 unit that supports them. Each of the quick start deck bosses also got a supporting grade 1 here. I've talked about them in a couple of other videos here, but they each have 2 skills. They say whenever they boost, if at the end of the battle that it boosts, you retire it, or if they boost and some sort of effect that's specific to the quick start deck boss, so this one's for Astrom, the Brancate one, so if it resands a unit, you retire this, choose that quick start deck boss from your solar drop and put it in the bottom of your deck so you can continue persona writing, and then it has an additional skill after that. For this one, it is to countercharge, which that deck desperately needs. Here's the starter for Liel, which is one of my favorites, to be honest. It's a cute little angel. Then we got ourselves the Dance Way of Cylinder Blade Diana. Diana is really cool. Really cool common card for Keter because she says whenever another unit was placed from rear from deck this turn, she gets plus 10k. There's a bit of a typo because there's like a T there, unfortunately. But either way, really cool card because, I mean, that's all Keter, for the most part, does is play stuff from deck, right? So she'll always be a 10k attacker. Which is pretty cool. We got ourselves energy cards again. This one here is going to have Hikari from the future here. Spoiler, I guess, if you still haven't finished the anime. But for this time around, the energy cards, the backs of them are going to be Hikari, Masanori, Sho, and then Hikari, baby, present. I don't know. Another one of the quintets. Here's a random sort of Geneva support card here. We got ourselves the grade 1 support for Triumph Dragon. Here is another card for Andra, but I don't know if that really is going to see play. Here's a grade 2 for Virginia, which is actually both the grade 1 and grade 2 are actually generic, so you can play them in any Dragon Empire deck, and they're actually pretty good. So this one says whenever you ride a grade 3 over it, or any unit actually, you look at the top 7 and choose any grade 2 card and add it to your hand. But if you ride the specific grade 3 for this deck, you can choose any card. Or no, you choose your whole deck. Sorry, not top 7, you choose the whole deck for a grade 2. So, pretty cool. Ooh, we got ourselves a hit here. So I mixed up the hits a bit. So there's some in the front, some in the back. So this is going to be our SR, which is unfortunately going to be the Drag Ritter Dragrum here, who is a Eugene support card, as well as a Gandiva support card. So he says on place, if you have either Eugene or Gandiva, you can Soul Blast 1 and Energy Blast 3 to retire one opponent's rears, and if not, draw a card. And this guy gets, at the end of the battle that your Vanguard attacks, choose a front row rear guard and stand it. And also, if you play a normal order, it boosts. I feel like, in theory, this card is good. Whether or not it makes Eugene better is a completely different question. We're going to get here the Mind Hacker, which is another set of cards that share effect. So every one of the Divine's Faded One cards get a set of grade 1s that just get 5k and 5k shield. 5k attack and 5k shield. Maybe now that I'm realizing the Deanna plus, the T, maybe it was just the plus, but it just looked weird. Anyways, but they only get this buff if you have this specific Vanguard, right? Here's a really cool common normal order for Dragon Empire that says whenever your Vanguard restands, you can give all of your units in the front row 10k power. So, really solid card. This card kind of annoys the heck out of me. Almost as much as this Direful Doll, but it be what it be. We only got 2 cards of support for Direful Doll. It's a deck that I've been mainly playing here. Here's the super cool order for Virginia here, which gives your Vanguard massive power. Super cool. This is a pretty cool order in Lyrical, because you look at the top, you rest a rear guard, look at the top 3, call something, put the rest on the bottom of your deck. So, get a unit for relatively for free. This is the ride line for Bladmire, which was kind of generic, but it says when you ride the specific grade 2, you look at the top 3, put all grade 0 units into your soul, and if you put 2 or more, you draw 1. Got some Solarian support. The Solarian support in this set is actually really good. I'm really hoping to play around with that a lot here. This one, not so much. We're gonna get ourselves an FR of the Veleno Soldato Crisaidreca here, who is pretty cool card. So he says at the end of the turn, if you have 5 or more Veleno units, you counterblast 1, put this on the bottom of your deck, and you choose 2 Blitz orders from your drop and put them into your hand. So it allows you to get your Blitz orders back. Pretty good. This common order is not so good. You just put a bunch of normal units on the bottom of your deck and then draw a card. The grade 1 here for Virginia is pretty solid as well, because it says when you would ride, you can Soul Blast 1 instead. So pretty good. And we've seen that. And ooh. Oh wow, we got a double hit, I guess. Wow, I actually got one of these on camera, because I was mentioning the other time that like you can actually get 2 SRs in a box. Wow, that looks really beautiful. So we actually got a double hit this time. So we've got the Dive to Blue Lycadas here, who is for the new Flame Glam. Interesting. They have the A here, but I think the cards themselves don't actually have the A. So we'll see if we see any of these cards. But that's kind of interesting. But yeah, all right. Here's a grade 2 for Bladmeyer, who does basically the same thing. Here's a grade 1 for Liel, who is one of the decks that was really, had a lot of hype going into it as the set was coming out, and then instantly fell flat on its face for whatever reason. I don't know why. It's not the craziest deck competitively, but even then, it did not end up seeing as much play as probably many players had hoped for. We got here another Veleno card. This one's not that great. Got a new ride line for Zorga. Perfect. And we got ourselves a quintet here. Here we go. Oh no, they do have the A. Okay. Whew, never mind. I think I saw somewhere where they just did not have the A, but it might have been on something else here. So we got ourselves here the new ride line. This is going to be the grade 2 of it. So this is the Flame Glam vert. The whole ride line has this archetype name of Flame Glam. End up just calling them Flame G girls. Super cool. If we get to grade 3, maybe we can go over it. But essentially what it does is that it lets you ride into your grade 0 from your ride deck to get an extra attack. So it's very interesting. Here's the Dark States Quick Start Deck Boss support card. Pretty good. Here's this super cute little lyrical card here. And got ourselves a rare that's actually not half bad. One of your Vanguards placed during battle phase, you can Energy Blast it to call this back in back row. So it's actually applicable in a lot of different decks in Cutter. This card is insane. So this is the Inspiring Archer Elenia here. So during your turn, if you do not have another copy of her, all of your grade 0 just get 5k. This is active on turn 1. So this is insane in Claudine. And I'm pretty sure pretty insane in Aurora. Right, because it just instantly gives everything a 5k boost. So that stacks with all the other effects that you do. So really cool. Wow. Then we got ourselves our double rare here in Compassionate Mechanic. So this is part of a new deck as well. This is for what is the peak match I got under here, which is Rotovisor. Cool. I'm glad you didn't hear me cursing you out, Kugla. So we're good. How's everyone doing today? I was just saying there's no grades. There's no letter grades in Vanguard, so I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Strawberry turns pink when you become ice cream? I mean, I don't know if those are actual strawberries. Yeah. How you doing, buddy? I am starving, but I don't feel like ordering anything. I don't feel like cooking anything. I will probably cave in at the end of the stream and order something, but till then I'm gonna gorge myself with strawberries. We'll see how far we go. Redeem hydrate. Strawberries are like 90% water, right? So that's close enough. about chips for lunch. Jeez. I actually had like a some kind of lunch. I had annoying ass lunch. So I really like eating ham. Right? I know some people don't like ham for whatever reason, but I really like ham. But since my transplant, I'm not supposed to eat raw ham, like uncooked. But I kind of do it anyways, and so far everything's been okay. But sometimes I'm just like, let me not chance it. Let me cook this piece of shit. Right, so I put it in a pan. I got some Gouda cheese from some gift basket that I got recently. And on another pan, I put some. Originally, I had some bread. Right, I put some bread in the toaster. I was like, all right, whatever, I have that bread. Then I saw there were some wraps in the fridge, and I was like, oh fuck, let me do these wraps instead. That sounds good, right? Put away the bread. Put the wraps on. There was like I can't even say wraps. They were just like really big tortillas, essentially. So I put that on a pan just to warm it up. And you know that's doing its thing. Ham is doing its thing, and then like I flip the tortilla over and I see like what looks like mold on one of them, and I'm just like, bro, that can't be good. So I go and it was the last two. So I go take a look at the wrapper, and it's just like, oh, May. This is June. About to be July. I can't eat this shit. Throw that out. I'm like, all right, shit. Thankfully, there was another bag of wraps, like actual wraps, right? You can actually wrap stuff up in the fridge. And I was like, all right. Problem solved. I'll use this. It's this like weird brown rice kind of stuff, so it was kind of like flaky. And I was like, oh, maybe it'd have like a cool texture or whatever. So I throw that on, warm it up, and I don't hate like warmed up cooked ham. It's just the reason I like ham, real ham, or like 1mm slice of ham. I mean, I'm not talking about like a giant chunk of ham, but like slices of ham, you know. The reason I like deli ham, right, is because you can just put that on a sandwich, eat it, problem solved, right? I'm hungry, done. But now it's like they've taken that away from me, so I have to go in the fucking pan, put the fucking ham on it, wait for it to heat up, and do all this shit. When before it's just slap some mayo, bread, mayo, ham, bread, done. Right? Got a meal. So whatever. Fucking around with the ham, flipping it over. I put the cheese, I put like ham and then cheese and then ham, and I flip it, and of course the fucking cheese comes out. So I'm just like, fucking cheese. Stupid ass cheese. So whatever, and I transfer it onto the wrap, and then I take the wrap out, put it on a plate. I'm like, all right, whatever. All that stuff is done with. I'll go on the couch, watch some random YouTube video, have this little wrap here. Try to wrap up the wrap, and then it just like crumbles. Just completely like half of it just breaks in half, and like it wasn't even like I cooked it for too long. It was just, I don't know, something about the integrity of the actual wrap just got too flaky and broke apart. So I had to like angrily get up because like cheese is falling off on the couch, and just angrily go on the table and just fucking stuff my face in it, just like raw dog, like just throwing everything into my face so it doesn't make that much of a mess anymore. But funny story, I had just found the original wrap, bread, mayo, some ham, maybe some cheese. I don't have tomatoes at home, but if I had tomatoes, that'd be nice. And some lettuce. Put them on the bread. Everything would have been fine. I probably would have been in an amazing mood. Instead, I'm in an okay mood. Because of my substandard lunch. But I will say this, these strawberries are cutting my hunger at least. So it's at least doing its thing, right? So there is that. But alright. The last time we had the like Sonic music, I feel like that worked out pretty well, right? I think we can do that today. I think that was pretty nice and chill. Yeah. And I didn't get a copyright strike, so we're good to go, right? So, alright, so I guess we can go ahead and get started. We can stand up the headlines real quick. We don't have anything too crazy to go over today. We just have Bird Lady. Quite a couple of cards for Bird Lady, which makes sense. Because considering this is a brand new unit. But we can also talk about some stuff that I guess pertains to Ek, ironically. Because we do have Finale. I don't know about more importantly, but we'll go over the card of the day first. Which we have 2 sets. One set, 3 cards for Charmant, and another one for Finale. I believe the Charmant stuff is first. So first we have ourselves here, Perfect Star in her heart, Taikea here, Taikea. Yeah, I don't know about that, buddy. Oh no, this is the Finale stuff. Never mind. This comes first, I guess. So when this is placed on rear, you can Energy Blast 3, search your deck, or drop for up to 1 trick or treat. Reveal it, put it to your hand, and if you search your deck, shuffle your deck. So Crispina, I don't know if Crispina searches from drop, but you typically don't care about that. So basically Crispina, but on a, ironically, another 13k body, right? Because Crispina already got 5k. But on a grade 3, so nowhere near as useful. And alternatively, Energy Blast instead of Counter Blast, which is kind of nice. But I'm gonna have 2 Crispinas, yikes. So this is like, okay, I guess. You know, it's nice to have. I don't like if this was the type of deck that you can actually fit cards into it, that'd be great. But since, you know, half of your actual units ends up being, half of the space you have reserved for units end up being for your trick and treats, so I don't think this will really fit in. But hey, it's a nice option to have. Realistically, you just run both, but beggars can't be choosers. I don't think you would run both. I don't think you want to run the new one at all, to be honest. You could reduce the treat count a bit, perhaps. I don't know if that's worth it. I don't know. I don't think these new cards weren't that, to be honest. But next up we have Rascal Stars Provas here, who just gets 5k attack and shield if you have 5 or more trick or treat in drop. I feel like if they at least made this 3 or more, this would have been a lot more playable, because 5 or more basically means this is only active after turn 3, and I don't know why they refuse to give shield value early. And if this was a 13k booster on like turn 2, would that have really been the worst thing? Like, I don't know. Seems kind of silly. Honestly, they could have swapped the rarities on these two, because the other cards are at least kind of playable. This one's kind of like, I don't know about that, Chief. But then we got the last card here, the main one, Reaching for the Stars, Tamiya here. Who has 2 effects. First effect makes no sense to me, where she says, when this unit is placed on rear, choose a trick or treat from your drop, and you may put it into your soul. Why the heck would I want to do that? Part of the reason the deck would have a soul problem is because of Stegria, right? And I don't understand why I would want to do this, to play a grade 2 that just gives me soul. And let alone minusing my, like, essentially win condition for my drop and putting it into my soul. Like, I know you can just soul blast it out, but like if this read maybe like a Finale, that might have even been better. Like some of the Filthy Rosa cards, but I don't know. That just seems very strange. I don't understand it. Put the stream in the background and just heard Stegria. What's up? I probably said Stegria. Sorry, not Stegria. as in the order cycler for I don't know if cycler's a word, but the order girl for lyrical, that's like $50. But much like it, skull. Much like Stegria, this is what many have called budget Stegria or backup Stegria, except she doesn't do the important part of Stegria, which was to look at top 5, add an order, or call something. Instead, she has the second part of Stegria, the like least important part, I feel like, where she says when this attacks, if you have 5 or more trick and treat and drops, you can counterblast 1, draw 1. This gets 10k power to the end of the turn. Stegria at home is better than no Stegria. Yeah, but it doesn't do the actual Stegria part. Like, the counterblast 1, draw, and 10k power is nice, but that's not what you play Stegria for. That was just like an added bonus, honestly. It was the fact that you can call stuff and get orders also, right? And that you can, you know, thin deck and stuff like that with her. So I don't see why, other than for budget reasons, you would choose this over Stegria. I also don't see the merit in playing both. Right, if I'm playing both this and Stegria, I don't see the point in playing her just to put her into Soul. And then that, like, to have both of them on field, that's Counterblast 2, 3 a turn? For a deck that still only has, like, what, 1 counter charge in main phase? Like, I don't know. This is nice to have, but ultimately I don't see this being played. I feel like the deck stays exactly the same as it is now, and that's about it. To one more copy of your main Vanguard and win? I mean, our Magnus players have been playing like no copies of their main Vanguard. But now players play like maybe 2 of them. I don't know. With the dress up in 2025? I don't see how. Unless she says like put everything into Stone and get power somehow. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. Because outside of Stegria, what are you using Soul for? The grade 2 that calls something from drop? Like, you don't need extra Soul from that, because those are the only 2 things in the deck that use Soul, unless I'm thinking of something else, right? Unless you play Yuika in the deck or something like that, nothing else uses Soul. So you have the grade 0, grade 1, grade 2 for now. To activate that grade 2 girl 3 times. That's 3 turns on grade 3 that you get to use that girl. Why would I need extra Soul? I don't understand. I don't understand the thought behind this. But, pardon me. Consider remaining Fabrino, but realize it's not easy to use. It's not easy to use. It's not cheap because of 1 card, and it's not well supported. So it's definitely not something I would recommend unless you really like it. You can play treats for your soul, but they don't count for word count. That'd be silly. That'd be interesting, but that would be silly. That'd be broken. Because like, what would you do after 3? I don't know if it's worded where you can like loop back. So you can only play up to, I don't know. Like, I guess I would let you play other orders the same turn. I don't know. But you could only play Regalia's pieces. It wouldn't make any sense. All right. So that's the Fennel support. They've I expected them to support the lyrical 4 girls pretty well, and they kind of did that. I expected them to at least get triple rares, but they did not. So that was Fennel, and here we have the Charmant side, who is also going to get 3 cards. I think 1 of each grade also. This girl here, what if, Nisha, what if this card was actually good? Because when I misread it, I thought it was actually pretty solid. But this girl says that when you're Vanguard with lip lesbians and its card name is attacked, you you Soul Blast 3 cards with different names from this card. Call this the Guardian, and she gets 5k shield. So this is Soul Blast 4, essentially, to call something that gets 10k shield tops. That's gotta be the stupidest fucking effect I've ever seen. Originally, I thought this said Soul Blast 3 cards from your soul and put them to Guardian Circle, and they each get 5k shield. That's originally what I thought it said. I was like, oh shit, that'd be crazy, because you can easily put like triggers and stuff in Soul, and you tend to have some extra Soul sometimes, so that'd be crazy. The Soul Blast 3 seems kind of heavy to do that every single time, and overkill, but that'd be dope. Instead, it's just the most useless garbage effect I've ever seen written on a card ever, honestly. We need a bald 5th dimensional creep to say that what if? What? What does that sentence even mean? But yeah, this card's really disappointing. I don't know what they were thinking with this one. If it was at least Soul Blast 1, then it would be like, it still wouldn't see play, but at least it would be like, all right, that's cute. But like, this is just disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. I don't know why she couldn't just get, like, this could have easily said, if you have 3 different names in your soul, this gets 10k shield, right? And that still wouldn't have seen play, maybe, but it at least would have been playable. Oh, all right. In any case, here's the grade 3 that for whatever reason has 10k attack. Otherwise, this would have been kind of decent. But we have the Fascinate Tail Cordette, which just says, when this is placed, choose one of your vanguards with lesbians in their card name, and it gets 5k power to the end of the turn. So this is like fine, right? Charmant just needs stuff that adds up in power, adds the vanguard up in power, but it being a grade 3 that's 10k, just why? This Charmant support is just so puzzling. It's like, why? Like, I get that it's free, but it's locked to a name Vanguard. Like, Reese's does this and she gives 10k, but I don't know. Like, this just seems unnecessary. They could have at least made this generic, right? Where like it worked like for Hazoreed also, because it's like it has less power than usual, but they couldn't even do that. So, and then why is this so rare? I don't understand. Before it became Yes.Nation. Lower base power? I don't think that's a specific lyrical / Bermuda gimmick. It's just a general thing. I mean, they definitely have it more than the other nations, but they have a deck that benefits from that in Hazoreed, so in that sense it makes sense. But yeah, these 2 cards are just, why even print these? Honestly, I just don't understand. Like, this one could have just very easily been a grade 2 and it just would have been fine, right? Like, you still would have probably played the other girl that lets you draw a card over this, but this would have been like a budget alternative. Not that that card's expensive, but that card's a double rare. This would have been rare. That would have made sense. But the fact that it's a grade 3 that you can't intercept with, and it doesn't even have the bonus of it being a grade 3 and that it has the extra power, it doesn't even get that. And it's not like it says like choose both of them, right? The Vanguard and this unit get 5k. I just don't understand. Honestly, don't understand. But we'll go to the last card here. The Warmly Lit Light. Preach here. But it's just one effect also. All of these have just one effect. This one says that when this unit is placed on rear from hand, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with lesbians in its card name, you Energy Blast 3, choose a card from your soul and call it to rear. Then you can Soul Blast 1, choose one of your Vanguards, and it gets 5k power. This is actually playable. This easily replaces the Wheelies or whatever it is. Abbreviation? Oh, Lip Lesbians. This easily replaces that powerful card that you play in the deck, and it actually gives you more value because now you have a way to use your energy. You can call out one of your extra lip lesbians from Soul, because you have that one grade 1 that puts anything into Soul. Now it actually has a reason to do that, right? You can take one of your extra copies, put them into Soul. You can now, basically without having to play anything from hand, you can play this, or you can get all of your girls without having to play one from hand, right? Because you can play this, pull out like the grade 2, Soul Blast, get the Vanguard Far Cave, 5k, Counterblast 1, Vanguard pulls out the grade 1 and the grade 0 after that, so you have all 3 of them. and you don't have to play any of them from hand or anything like that, so you can reduce the amount that you play in deck also. So this is actually really good. I don't know why they had to gimp the other 2 cards to create this, but I don't know. Both the Fennel and the Charmant support are extremely disappointing, both in their effects and the fact that these are decks that came out the previous lyrical set, so they only had that 1 wave of support, so they should have had decent support this time around, right? Like, I fear for tonight when they do the card of day for Sienna, the deck that struggled the most coming out of that set, and it's just garbage. Also, I'm hoping that's not the case, but in any case, that does it for card of the day, and we can talk about Bird Girl, who has a very, very little interesting effect. Sorry if I'm like more pessimistic than usual. I'll try to tone it back a bit, but probably that shitty wrap that I had for lunch. Whoops, did not mean to open that. Alright. So, let's take a look. Of course, I think I called it almost right when we looked at the high-res images. But this is the absolute zero risk, which is just the starter. That says when you ride over this going second, you draw 1. Not much to say there. In terms of like a lyrical starter tier list, this is definitely up there. This one looks insanely cool. I'd like to see what it looks like in like visual and paper, because it looks really, really cool and really, really pretty. But then we have ourselves Absolute Zero Crow, who I thought was going to be the grade 2, I think, but ended up being the grade 1. So this has 2 effects. First one is that when this is placed by riding from the Absolute Zero Ricks, so that's a grade 0, so you have to play the grade 0 to use this effect. You look at the top 7, and you can choose any Absolute Zero or Judge Maiden in its card name from among them, put into your hand and shuffle your deck. Judge Maiden is such a cool sounding archetype name, as is Absolute Zero, so I really like this at face value. Between this and honest though, you can almost argue that Angel Feather could have gone with the fish to lyrical instead of saying Keter. I mean, aside from the like lore implications and all that stuff, but just because you see birds, just because you see birds and wings, doesn't mean that it's an angel. But it would have been nice if they, if not directly like that, if they did. I forgot who was the Keter representative. I don't remember. Might have been Kyoko. Because there was this whole thing with Lyrical 3, right? When they revealed those girls, they were each like, I don't want to say refugees, but they each came from like one of the 5 original nations. So I know it was like Medio was from Circea. I don't know if it was each of them, but I know Medio was supposed to be from Circea and Lutetia was from Dark States, and that's why their effects are kind of similar to that. But it would have been nice if whatever the Keter one was had some sort of Angel Feather properties, but oh well. It would be hard to not make maidenless jokes when playing this deck against your opponent. Yeah, because you get all your Judge Maidens. Like Lyris? I think the Keter person is Jinky from Wildress. No, I mean Keter. There's a Keter lyrical deck. There's a deck in lyrical where the like main unit was originally from Keter, I think, because I know it was for the other 2 that I mentioned, and I think it was for each of the nations. Because I think Michi was originally from Dragon Empire. That's why she has the ability to retire. Yeah, that's probably right. Okay, so that means Kyoka's Brankate? I guess she just used orders, right? Okay, fair enough. I mean, they're normal orders, not set orders, but fine. So yeah, so instead of giving us the giant, they could have given us an angel feather. So more reason to hate Leafia, I guess. But oh well. But alright. Then the next effect we have here is on rear. Once per turn, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with absolute 0 in its card name and your opponent's on grade 3 or greater, you can discard a card from your hand and all of your front row rear guards get 5k power to end a turn. Interesting. So it gives the ability, the red text, to this unit, right? It doesn't give it to you, the player. It doesn't give it to you, your Vanguard. It gives it to this. So if you overcall it, you lose the effect. You can stack it, but it's just interesting that it specifically gives it. If you have your opponent uses something that like neutralizes something in a column, she'll lose the effect. So it's just very interesting the way they've worded that. She loves Caterpillar too much. Turn Olden into Caterpillar, I mean, more than likely, but we'll have to see. Works around, yeah, I guess it technically works around Vladimir, right? Because he only turns off the Vanguard and the player, so I guess so, yeah. The funny thing is that it says that, I don't know, it just says all your front row units. But anyways, it doesn't matter. So it just sounds like she has ownership over my units. But in any case, you know, interesting effect. Discard 1, 5k buff. You get 2 of these, 5k buff, 5k buff, 10k Persona Ride. But of course, it's locked to going second, which is really lame. It's fine. I guess technically you could have played like 4 of these in one turn, right? And got like 20k to your front row. So I don't know. Wouldn't run more in main deck? I don't know, because it has the surge effect, and I think there's some other card. Maybe not. I haven't looked at these too well, but I think there's other cards that require like absolute 0, but maybe not. Or that ask for absolute 0 cards, and we don't have a lot. We just have the ride line. For example, the grade 2 here, I thought was going to be the grade 1. But this is the absolute 0 Calsua. I say you might run more the grade 2. Yeah, because I know the grade 2 has the effect where you ride a grade 3. Interesting that it just says grade 3 with absolute 0, not like the actual name of the grade 3. So we could get other absolute 0 grade 3s in the future. Probably not, but it's just interesting that they worded it that way. But whenever you ride a grade 3 absolute 0, you choose the grade 1 and this card from your soul and call it out. So it's the same as the Alma Gesture line. So you get to use both the rear effects, but also you have no soul. You use that 1 card in soul, so you can't use Vashmon at all in this deck, presumably. But then it says on rear, when this unit attacks a Vanguard, if you have a grade 3 or greater, absolute 0 in its card name, not locked to going second at least, this unit gets 5k power for the end of the battle, and at the end of that battle, you retire her and draw 1. So this is literally just this is literally just Boulder Axe. This is exactly Boulder Axe. It even calls itself out from soul. The only thing it calls out another card. Yeah, you would definitely play 4 of these between ride deck and main deck. That's funny that they just gave it Boulder Axe. I don't know how I feel about I'll get into it after we look at all the cards, but I don't know how I feel about how these cards are designed. Just in terms of like their aesthetic and whatnot. But not something to complain about. It's not. That's not what I'm complaining about. You'll see what I'm complaining about later. It's better due to the art. Yeah, I mean, if I had to pick one over the other, yeah, it'd definitely be her. But we finally have here the absolute 0 Stagita. I forgot to watch the stream and see how they pronounce this. Forgot to see how they pronounce this. But see if anyone knows who this bird shares the most comparisons with. What does that even mean? You talk about a human being, a Vanguard unit. Oh my god, with the V again. Oh my god. Anyways, moving on. Always bringing up V in this chat. So first effect, all of your opponent's units get the continuous ability where Vanguard or Rearguard. If it is the 4th battle of this turn or more, when this unit would attack, it cannot attack unless you discard it from your hand. As many people have said, it's just tunneling, where you can't do more than 4 attacks without paying a cost, which is kind of funny, honestly. I think Sagittarius? Sagitta, I guess, is what it would be. Second best bird? Who's the first best bird? If this is second, who's first? We don't really have a lot of birds. It's discard instead of CB, yeah, essentially, which is a lot easier to pay, but yeah. So that's interesting. Signe? Oh. Sure, I guess. So I don't know. I'm surprised, right? Is it Dalhausen? That sounds like that wrestler. I don't know how much this this has done online, where it's just like I don't know if this is the kind of thing where people saw this and started bitching instantly. We're just like, this is crazy. What the fuck? Oh my god, I can't do 5 attacks anymore. This game is broken. Like they did with like Sienna and Omni Grugio and to an extent Bladmeyer, even though that was like for a different reason, but I haven't seen a lot of that, surprisingly. But I don't know. I would have thought this of all effects, right, would have triggered that, but Premium's gonna be funny with this. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like, like I wonder if this probably actually really works in Premium, right? Like, I don't know. If, like, I'm thinking like my NLK brain is thinking like, can you like ride Superior Ride into this like at the end of your battle or something like that? Fuck your opponent over, but I don't know. Some decks that don't have excess draw power to keep up. Yeah. I can't wait to play it on CFA. Yeah, should be there tonight, maybe, or tomorrow. I think it has a lot of potential, more than likely. I haven't read all the effects yet, to be honest. You know who the players who started in D. I'm gonna build Sagitta once it drops in English. Yeah, me too. I've had this deck earmarked as soon as they revealed the set. I was like, she looks super cool. And then they said her name is Absolute Zero Sagitta. I was just like, it's a wrap. Even if she sucks, I'm building it. Because Elemental Hero Absolute Zero is my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh card, and I'm a Sagittarius, so I want to say they almost made this quote unquote for me, but the effect is kind of not exactly for me. No, because they think that the deck is awful. That's why they don't care. I don't know about awful. I haven't like when I make these, I copy and paste the effects and stuff super quickly, but I don't know about awful. That's a bit wild. Zero badly needed homily. I don't know if that would have been, if it was like a rotted homily, maybe, but all right. The second effect we have here is act on Van once per turn, Energy Blast 4, and this girl gets 10k power and a drive to the end of the turn. So at the very least, this isn't locked to going second, so your opponent can get mollywopped by your 23k triple drive Vanguard while they're on grade 2, so that's kind of cute. Energy Blast 3 is kind of high, but as we know from the quick start deck bosses, one, it means you can't use any of the other stuff, so you can't already use Vashbon because you presumably want to call out the ride deck, and you can't now use Preciosa either because you just won't have the energy for it. I know there's an energy charger somewhere, but you just won't have the energy for it, trust me. I've tried that stuff in the quick start deck stuff. It's just don't do it. Just don't do it unless it's like energy charge 3. It's not gonna work out. But the last effect we have here is when your card is discarded from your hand by card's ability during your turn, counterblast 1 and draw a card. This is the part I don't super understand. I don't understand a lot of things, and it's mainly because I've always had this problem with Vanguard as a whole, where like 90% of the time, I want to even say 95, I can't piece together the like art and lore and stuff behind the card and like the name and all that stuff with its actual effect. Right? Like nothing about Bird Chick makes me think, like, I guess you can sort of justify it to an extent, but like it just doesn't match up as much as I'd want to, right? It just seems like they wanted a card to have these types of effects, so they just like threw stuff onto it. Absolute Zero cards in hand. I mean, not really, because you draw one, so you would have absolute zero loss of cards in hand because you just replace whatever you discard. But like the first effect, you can kind of justify where it's like, I guess you could like fly away after the fourth attack, so you can't reach her, even though there's like dragons and shit in Vanguard, so they can all obviously fly to her. For your opponent, yeah, I guess so. The second effect, like, it's just there, right? It's just power and drive. It's just because it's a Vanguard deck, right? And then the last effect is like, what? Does she swoop into the? Not even because I don't even understand it, right? Just aesthetically, it doesn't make any sense, and that happens with like every single Vanguard deck, and I always have a problem with this. But doesn't your opponent with a Star Shower? Like that's her getting powered up with the I don't get it. Or that's how she protects herself. Like she gets the I don't know. She gets the shit beat out of her after 4 attacks, and she takes like the stars on her head and she blocks with that or something. I don't get it. Stargazer vibe, yeah, and like I'm not saying that I like have a better example of how that would have implemented, but I just don't see the connection between a lot of these cards. But I don't know. That was the thing that I was just gonna complain about. Blocks attacks with his wings? Yeah, I guess. But this doesn't even block the attack. That's the other thing, right? Because it's not stopping the attack. It's that your opponent has to discard a card. So it's like she's charging your opponent some kind of tax or something like that, right? So I don't know. Like maybe I'm just more used to like Yu-Gi-Oh, where like you can see those things a lot clearer, and it's just like, oh wow, that's so cool, right? But renaming Emperor Hope to Utopia has to be one of the worst dub renames in history. Was that what they? I guess that is what. Well, his name in like Japanese was just number 34, Hope, right? Wasn't that his name? It was just because it was Kibo, which is hope in Japanese, and it was just Kibo Hope. So it was just hope, right? So I don't know. I think Utopia works just fine. It turns out the gates. Yeah. Yu-Gi-Oh bad. All right. The other thing that kind of put me down on this, and again, I hate to be such a bummer today, but this is Shaw of Rest, Judge Maiden, Chronol here. Is I heard the name Judge Maiden, I was like, damn, that just sounds fire, bro. Like I expected, like I don't know what I expected, like you know that like justice symbol where it's like the woman with like the scales and like her eyes are all like wrapped up. I expected like units looking like that or something crazy, and then yeah, it's just a fucking schoolgirl. Just like, come on, man. At least put her in like a maiden, like a priestess, a shrine maiden outfit or fucking something, right? If you're gonna call her a fucking judge maiden, like, and it's just a fucking schoolgirl, and I was just like, come on. Like, there's just such a huge disconnect here. Like, it just doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Yeah, like a Greek priestess something, right? Like something that matches this very specific name, because you could very easily just fucking remove this part, right? And it's just Shaw of Rest Chronola, right? Like it makes no fucking difference. Other than like they gave it an archetype name so you can search it with one card. I don't get it. I don't fucking get it. Like it just doesn't make any sense to me. Come on. Whatever. It is what it is, I guess. So it says, when this is discarded from your hand during your turn, if you have a Vanguard Absolute 0 in its card name, choose one of your rear guards and it gets 5k power. I don't think this will be played. Because the thing that also confused me is like, does anything discard other than the grade 1? Because like the grade 2 doesn't discard. She retires herself. The grade 1 discards. But like, does anything else in this deck discard? So like, I don't understand this last part of the skill. Whenever you discard, you draw one. Because I thought that would be kind of like part of the mechanic. But maybe there's more afterwards. But I don't know. Big Bird herself discards? Ooh. Her? No, she doesn't. Doesn't discard for any cards. You also have to discard? What? What are you talking about? No, it says all of... Oh, no, that says you. Never mind, never mind. All right. Oh, okay. That changes everything. I completely missed that it affects you too. I don't know if it matters, because I don't know if this has multi-attack. But I didn't realize it affects you too. That's kind of ass. That's kind of ass. Not gonna lie. Oh, that's kind of ass. But all right, let me finish reading all these cards before I make any more assumptions. We got Neat and Fluffy Judge Maiden Miralis here. Pulls from drop, like mid-battle. Because this says at the end of the battle, does this unit attack if you have a grade 3 or greater with absolute 0 in its card name. Retire this unit, choose one of your opponent's grade 3 or grade... Oh, right. This one retires one of your opponent's units. This one was odd. Yellow coat. That's just part of the uniform. That's just part of the summer uniform. Unfortunately, plenty of the girls have that yellow coat. That doesn't make a difference. So she's just the one that retires. That's whatever. Then we have Secret Prayer. Judge Maiden Clary here. Just has 2 effects. First one is when this is discarded from your hand during your turn, if you have a Vanguard with absolute 0 in its card name, you may put this into your soul. I mean, you do lose 2 soul when you ride, so I guess that gives you soul for other things, but that's only after you discard. I guess you can discard... Yeah, you can discard this for ride, and it goes to soul, right? So there's that. And this just says that it gets 5k shield. But at least this is active as soon as turn 1. So that part is nice. There's like a stun type deck. I mean, we can discard during ride. Yeah. So that's why I was expecting to see more of that. That's why I discounted like the first one where it's like it gets a rear guard 5k, because I was like, that might not always be applicable when I ride up. I might not have a rear guard out there to apply to, so that one's kind of whatever. But like this one, yeah, you can just put it into soul. So that's kind of nice. Definitely don't need Vash Blonde, right? If that's the case, or Preciosa if you have cards that discard and get effects. It's a Numatama type deck. I don't know if that's correct. I don't think Numatama made the player themselves discard. It made your opponent discard. Oh. Alright. Then we have ourselves here with this ridiculous ass name. Light Encircling the Flower Garden, Judge Maiden Lorenia. And again, it's just some girl, school dress standing there. This one said, when this is placed on rear, if you have a Vanguard with absolute 0 in its card name, you counterblast 1. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Choose up to 1 card with either absolute 0 or Judge Maiden in its card name, or among them, reveal it, put into your hand, and shuffle your deck. So this is why, because of this card, I assume that you would play more. You would play the grade 1 in your deck, because this searches out for one of them. But otherwise, you just have to play Judge Maidens, and that's it. But then other than that, when she attacks a grade 3 or greater, she gets 5k power. Cool. Sounds okay. So I'm guessing this is the multi-attack enabler, because this is like the last card. This is Calming Sky Blue, Judge Maiden Arua. Which just says, when this is discarded from your hand during your turn, if you have a Vanguard with absolute 0 in its card name, and you charge 1. That's fine. I guess I don't see this being really applicable, to be honest. Like, you can't like spam this, right? And I'm assuming you want to use its second effect, so you don't really want to discard this. Oh no, it says from drop. Okay, never mind. So you do want to discard this. When your grade 3 or greater absolute 0 Vanguard attacks, if you do not have if you don't have another one of this, you can call this out to rear. So you use the Boulder Axe to draw, and then you play this from drop. Then when this attacks, if you have the grade 3 or greater, she gets plus 10k. So she's combined rusher, right? Except in battle. So you discard this, get energy, you play Boulder Axe, attack, retire. You swing with Vanguard, call this out, it gets 10k power. But this is still only 4 attacks, and you can only call one of her. So yeah, unless you use something outside of this deck, right? That's not the direct support. You can't really do more than 4 attacks, right? So theoretically, I would never be affected by my effect to have to discard cards, even though I could discard to CB1 and draw, right? But theoretically, right, I would never get more than 4 attacks unless I'm missing something here. Charge 1, natural charge 3 means even if you break even on energy, spending it for the drive +1, yeah. If you see this, yeah. But yeah. So yeah, you definitely want to play Preciosa just because you want to discard this instead, but you can maybe use her to guard for turn. I don't know. Cause yeah, I still wouldn't play it. Because you just have so many specific cards that work when you're discarded. So there's probably a bunch of other staples you can fit into this deck, but so this is interesting. I mean, yeah. So you play the Boulder Axe, you get drives, you play this out from drop, then you intercept with it, goes back into drop. You can't get cards from drop back into hand, right? Which is kind of lame. That would have helped this a little bit because you're going to be discarding cards. But it kind of has like from what it seems like, it has kind of like a Liel problem, where once you use up your specific named cards, it's a wrap, right? Because at least this you can reuse, but the other stuff you kind of can't. So assuming there are generics that support, but I don't know the entire catalog memorized. I mean, yeah, you can throw in a bunch of other generics. I just can't see it. I can't see you getting more than 5 attacks with this, which is fine. But I just mean, I don't mean in terms of like, oh, you have to be 5 attack deck, but I just mean in terms of like you being restricted by your own effect. 2, I feel like this would have an issue with you, like, yeah, I feel like this is gonna be a really difficult deck to play, right? Because the timing is really gonna matter, right? Because you play the girl that gives power to rear guard. If you don't have a rear guard, that sucks. If you discard this one every turn, that's fine, right? So if you see this one every turn, you're fine. You can play the like previous one. She lets you thin out your deck for Counterblast 1. You don't have a counter charger, so I don't know how much you're gonna use that first effect to counterblast and draw, to be honest. Whenever you discard, I don't think you're gonna be using that a lot, to be honest. Because you can't get over 5 attacks, so you're not gonna use it for that. You're only gonna use it really when you play the grade 1 to use her effect, and that's about it. You'll probably just play this, right? Also as like a backup to go to Soul, which lets you play other stuff like Stegria and stuff like that, and you can play like an order package maybe. It's not CV expensive, but you're also not doing anything with your CV aside from that one Surge Girl. I don't know if you'll play this other than like for the name. I don't know how much the name matters, right? And then like, isn't the grade 1 on place? That's my concern. Oh no, it's an axe skill. Okay, never mind. All right. Yeah, so you just be using, you'll call this out. If you go first, you don't use this skill. You use it next turn, discard 1, counterblast 1 to then draw, and everyone gets 5k. So you're basically Tamagura. You get 15k to the front row. You're Tamagura, you perk all those decks. So that's good numbers to hit. You can also do it going second. I feel like he would still play a lot of these in main deck. I don't know. Right, because like you have what is it? You have 30 cards for your main deck, right? It doesn't mean you need to think a few turns ahead in order to set up, right? Yeah, that's what I was trying to say earlier. That this seems kind of, you know, it's not a very like brain dead deck to play. This is pretty involved, which is not a bad thing, but yeah. So I'm thinking it's like 3 of your boss, right? So that leaves you with 27 cards. You play 4 of the Energy Cycler girl. Not Energy Cycler, but the Energy girl that you call from drop, right? I'm assuming you play 4 of those. Maybe? I don't know. I'm assuming, right? Because, like, even though she's like a combined rusher, you want to see her as much as possible. And even if you discard extra copies, it's fine? I don't know. But that puts you at 23. You play 3 of the grade 2, so that puts you at 20. So that leaves us with space to play the other grade 1, right? The discard one that goes into Soul. I don't know if we'll play this. I don't think we'll ever play the grade 3. We can play this. Right? This one's decent. So that puts us at 16. And then we can play the double rare, right? That puts us at 12. So that leaves us with 12 spots for the deck, not counting triggers and PGs, which are already accounted for. So, I mean, you can throw in not the grade 3. I don't see the point in playing the grade 3. Unless you really want retire, but I don't see like that benefits the deck a lot. You could play this, but I don't see the benefit in that either. Right, especially because you can't like discard in like battle phase or something like that. Like, I guess you can, if you have your board established, you can discard this with the grade 1, but I feel like, I mean, I don't know. I guess if you already have a copy of the grade 1, but you can do it multiple times. I don't know. Seems like more work than the payoff type of deck. Yeah, kinda. Also, this gives a fat middle finger to whoever does 7 attacks on turn 3. Yeah, it's a funny thing. Because you kind of you feel like you want to go second with this deck, but in actuality you want to go first every single time, because you want to have your grade 3's effect live every single turn, so that when your opponent goes into their first grade 3 turn, they can't plus as much, right? Because after they go 4 attacks, they have to discard. So you actually want to go first with this deck, not second. I feel like majority of the cases. Because the only thing that it locks you out of is the grade 1, right? I realize the same with Lascadia, you actually want to go first. Yeah, right? Because you want to use your blitz to get like card advantage. So this is interesting. So maybe you don't, I don't know. Let's say you play 3 of the grade 1, that leaves us with 9 cards in deck. You could play like 4 Stegria and like what, 3 orders, and then like 3 of whatever other card you want, I guess, or something like that. I don't know. Did you have a moment when you pulled a card and knew you were meant to play it? Yes, Baromagus. When I first started playing Vanguard in physical, and I opened the first set of overdress, and I pulled, I think I pulled them in order, because I pulled Uncanny Burning. I was like, wow, this dude looks super cool. And then I pulled Deep Sonicer and then Electro Spar, and I was like, oh, yeah, cool. He sounds like an E-Hero. And then I pulled Baromagus, and I was like, oh wow, that's kind of cool. And then I didn't like put it together until afterwards that they all work together. I was like, oh wow. And the rest is history. But yeah, this deck's interesting. It's the kind of thing where I can't make a lot of judgment calls. Aside from like the build, I have to see if there's any generics that fit into those slots, but I think it's mainly those cards that we mentioned, or that I mentioned, right? That will be in the deck. So not this grade 2 and not this grade 3. It'll just be 4 copies of this, and then 4 copies of this, and 4 copies of this. Persona Ride in the grade 2, and then whatever else you can fit in the deck. I don't know what. Here's the LSR. It looks fine. Something about the eyes, like, I don't know if it's because I'm spending too much time on Twitter, but something about like the eyes, to be honest, looked a little like AI generated. But it's just because I'm just so super critical of art in that sense nowadays. But this looks like really nice. Like, if I don't get this, I'll be okay, because I actually really like the base art for once. But that's a terrible mistake. Yeah, well, that's how it'd be. I think that's all I have, right? Oh no, yeah, this is the last thing. Yeah, because there wasn't really much else that they like showed or anything like that. Other than that, they were just opening, I think, the Shadowverse box. But they did mention that this guy this sort of Dark Irregulars looking guy is not actually Dark Irregulars. He's a fucking Bruce Bruce card here, which is great because he gets his like 1200 triple rare. But yeah, punk girls get their get a new double rare as well as a common, which is kind of nice. Yeah, it gets a common. I mean, they do that for all the decks. But hey, new card's a new card. Hopefully it's a new Flame actual G-Girl. I have a Twitter account, but I never use it since I want to save brain cells. That's a very smart move. Unfortunately, as a content creator, I am obligated to use Twitter whether I want to or not. Like Raid 1 already isn't? Yes, you're right. So hopefully the common is another Flame G-Girl, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be like Clarissa all over again, where you have to have an archetype specific card on board, but they don't give you any more archetype specific cards until way later for whatever dumb reason. All right, and yeah, that was it. Didn't really have much else to go over today. Didn't really give me much. We'll do a quick checkaroonie, and I'm like 110% sure that CFA is not going to update with these cards, but we'll just do a quick sanity check here. She plays the dumbass great. That was worth the top 3 search, and I'm good. I mean, just don't play her. She doesn't. It's not like she adds like any specific value, right? Like you can completely cut her. She's not like an archetype name or anything like that, right? So I don't know. Yeah, so she's not in CFA. Instead, we do have Kyoka and Lutetia. I've actually been testing out set 2 Kyoka. That's finally out. I managed to get all the cards. I opened a few boxes, and all I really needed was the common grade 3 and the triple rare grade 1. But I managed to pull a bunch of those, thankfully. So I was actually able to build a deck. I'm curious how they will support the current DZ decks in set 4. Yeah, I don't. They might not. They might each get like 1 card, or and that might be it. Because I think I still think what they're gonna do is that they're going to support. They're going to do what they did for Overdress set 4, where they did a bunch of the grade 4 stuff. I think they're going to do that again, but for set 5. Right? They even have it set up the same way, right? Where it's like an extra girl comes in, and then now she gets her own deck that comes out around that same time. And that was the same thing with Basaga, where she was the 6th start deck, right? And she came out right before set 4, and they've only revealed 1 card is going to be in set 5. So they can very easily do another, what, like 6 of them? And let's say, actually, no, it's just 6, right? Yeah, it's just all 6. So yeah, the rest of the 6 of them get those cards. Maybe Sho gets shot or something, so he doesn't get 1 or something. I don't know. But they can very easily do something like that. I very much expect them to do that. So we'll see. But it also might be the kind of thing where like they drop some of the characters. So like Masanori, I don't understand how he's involved in the plot now, but I feel like I was very certain he was gonna drop, right? And like do his own thing, because he doesn't seem like the type to stick around with a group and like do whatever. So I'm very confused why he's still around. So I'm not expecting a new Zorga, even though they love printing Zorgas. So I'm kind of expecting him to like peace out or something like that. Then between one of the girls, I don't know what's gonna happen there, because neither of them were really that well utilized, but now is like insanely popular. So they would have to like rewrite the story if they were to cut her out to include her now. So I don't know, Mikoto might get the boot. Welstra, I feel like they'll keep Welstra, Taizo. So who knows? I can't wait for the set 4 reveals to end so we can get the Rose reveals. My man, way ahead of himself. He's worried about cards in January over here. We're not even in July. My man's thinking about January. Now is the most popular character, so she will be around for the long term. So that's the thing, though. because I don't know when they started, one, the script for season 2, and 2, when they started recording and stuff for season 2, right? Because it might have been way back when, before Now got really popular. Right? So it might have just been the kind of thing where like, all right, we'll make this girl and then we're like fucking have her get run over by a car, episode 3 or something like that, because we don't care about her. And then later on they're like, oh fuck, she sells all our fucking merch, we gotta push this girl all of a sudden. I don't know, but that's just how it be sometimes. So I don't know, we'll have to just wait and see. But Vanguard is no stranger to instantly replacing characters, right? Look at how they decided to bring Urara and Raika and fucking push Toya and fucking Megumi and Tomari down the toilet to do nothing, right? Make these the main guys all of a sudden. So I would not be surprised. Okay, we playing the deck in September, I guess. Shit is going on, so he sticks around just to see what happens. Yeah, but I don't know. I just figured like he would just leave, right? Like I don't know why he would care as much, let alone to like hang out with everyone. Like there's that shot where it's like all of them, right? And they're like lined up, and like that doesn't seem like a Masanori thing to do, right? So I don't know. We'll see what happens. The outcry would be hilarious if it's just. I love Now, but like. I would be in like this weird shock state of like horror and also like laughing that they actually went ahead and did that. But yeah, we'll see. But I would not be surprised if unfortunately Now and Mikoto would just get pushed to the sidelines like they always do. And I feel like they're literally going to do the same thing that they did last season, where the narrative is going to be that our main protagonist cast, like the main core guys, literally, it's just gonna be Akina, Sho, and then the guy with no ass, the bug guy, the bug dragon guy, from this season. I feel like the 3 of them are gonna go, whatever the threat is next season, they're gonna be like the main guys that they push, which is lame. She has to be in every episode. They have to put Now in like every episode now if they want to sell merch. I wish you got replaced with me as an MC. Oh, there's no kidding. No one's kidding about that. That should have indeed happened. That should have been the plot, right? She should have won the last match of season 2. She should have killed Yu, and she should have been the main character. And then maybe we would have had a good anime, but oh well. Is like the Mikasa of the current run, I guess so. I mean, I feel like she's definitely a lot more popular than Mikasa was, but oh no, Mikasa, you're talking about Mikasa from Attack on Titan. Never mind. I thought you said fuck. What is her name now? Oh my god, I'm blacking out. Oh my god, the Oracle think tank girl, Misaki? Was that it? Yeah, I'm sorry. We did talk about the bird Hanley girl. Unfortunately, she's not in the CFA, so we can't do any testing like that. Misaki, yeah, okay. I thought you meant Misaki, but no, Mikasa from Attack on Titan makes more sense. That's how they're gonna push her, right? But we'll see. Their wife was playing the meta deck loses, yeah. Featuring some bozo. It's a jacket, basically. Why is YouTube being worse than normal with the ad spamming? I don't know. Both work, I guess. I feel like Somebody was popular, but then they left her in the wind. So yeah, they were all popular. All the characters from the original Overdose were really popular, and then they were popular up until they massacred them in season 3. Right, they massacred all of those characters in season 3. Once World Dress came out, they just literally took them out back, shot them in the face. Because all the characters were fine. Even Toya was starting to get a little bit better. He's always the odd one out because he started out good and then he became a bad guy. And then it had that whole weird thing with him being the leader of Blackout and like all this weird nonsense. His character path was kind of weird in the middle, and then it was really weird at the end. Like they had a good start, and I feel like they just didn't know what to do with him. It was fantastic. Every scene with her was immaculate, yeah. But I had mentioned this before. They kind of wrote themselves into a corner with Tomari, where I feel like she was really popular like now, but because she plays a control deck like Prison, they can't actually use her a lot, right? Because that would be really boring to watch. Like imagine if Yu played Prison every single game, and then every single game is a grind control fest, right? That'd be really boring. So that's why Tomari really didn't get a lot of fights. So, and even when they did, they tried to make the deck seem a lot more aggressive and whatnot than it actually was. Oh well. Make Tomari play a new comp waifu deck that doesn't make you hate life. Nah, leave Prison as Prison. At least it's better than being announced and never used. It was announced and never used. His main character arc was to explain why he's so broke to afford a hotel room and they can buy cases every set. That shit was so dumb. I remember they spent that whole episode where like they couldn't afford food or like whatever, and they couldn't get like a cab or some shit like that, so they had to like walk. And then Toya's like, actually, wait, never mind, I'll get money. And then they bought food or some dumb shit like that. It was a dumb, like, Overdress and World Dress were a fucking mess, bro. That was season 2, right? That was the good season, but that shit was dumb. I mean, people like being locked up by Tomari? Yeah, I guess so, but I don't know if that makes for good television. It's a different kind of television, I guess. American season 1 made no sense. Like he could have done both. Yeah, I mean, he could have done both. I get what they were going for. They just really didn't follow up on that. So Tomari was there stuck in the in the weaves, in the weeds or with the weebs, who like strong-headed. I'm gonna step on you, women. Yeah. Yep. But no. I had mentioned, since we're getting, for whatever reason, right, we're getting Bruce support. And then we got the Bruce promo. I had mentioned on Twitter that since we got the Greedon triple rare in the first Divine set, I don't know if it's the kind of thing where like, because he came back, right, the Greedon guy, does that mean Danji's coming back? I'm not saying like I believe he is, but it does line up. Because it did the opposite for Heroes, right? They had the hero guy come back, and then they revealed his support. But this way they did with the Greedon, they did the opposite, right? They revealed the Greedon support, and then the motherfucker showed up like 6 episodes later. So, or something like that, I don't remember. But I remember he was like the first wave that they showed, and I was like, alright, whatever. Yeah, Nubatama Mermaid, I guess. I feel like they were on the upswing since Wildress, so they kind of want to forget about Overdress. I don't know. Honestly, if I had to choose to watch one or the other, I would watch Overdress over Wildress. I really did not like Wildress. I would gladly rewatch season 1 of Overdress over rewatching Wildress, to be honest, for most cases. I really did not like Wildress. Drop college to bubble. On a regular basis. Leave Danji in the past. I'm sick of him. Me too. I'm okay. Like, I get the main cast is gonna have to come back because we're in the same universe, right? And it's the same timeline, so they're gonna show up eventually, and that's fine. I don't think it has to be anytime soon. That could be like 2 seasons from now or something like that, or just do it slowly, right, where they trickle in. Like they've kind of been doing it. I think that's okay too. But I just think it's suspicious that he's getting a triple rare for Diabolos when it's not even like a deck that's like in relevance or anything like that. Like, I don't know. Unless it's like a dual support kind of thing. Because the only other triple rare that I can think off the top of my head for like a random deck was the Flagbird card, right? But at least that technically supports Maelstrom, and then it has that first effect that can be played in any deck. But I can't think of any other triple rare that supports a really old deck that's not one of the Divine's ones, that's not in the anime, right? But I don't know, I could be wrong. I mean, media job, it's ridiculous, yeah. Yep, and that's the problem. Like, if these characters do come back, they will probably end up losing to like the new cast or something like that. Because like, I keep putting it into wrestling terms, but there's no reason for like the old guys to beat the new guys, right? They don't really gain anything from it. No. Well, I like the first episode of Divines. I think it as hard as the first episode of G. First episode of G? What was good about the first episode of G? Like, it was a pretty standard episode. It was just a teaching fight. Oh, it felt so GX. I mean, I mean, they only really. I mean, I guess. I don't know. People are gonna have Leonard PSD and cry abuses you were broken again. No. No Purple Bruce. Pretty much flopped hard. Yeah. We'll see which one this supports. I heard Matt Cope of the Dark States Destined one was gonna be a returning character. I mean, it is. It's not Cope. It is a returning character. So you're not wrong. You're talking about the old cast coming back, and the first episode of G had the tease of Aichi at the end. Did it? I must have forgotten about that. I guess I get what you're saying now. Because I know later on, right, the whole cast shows up, and that was really cool. But that was not like the first episode. The first episode is just, I really don't like the first episode because it just really gave me a really weird impression of Chrono, right? Because it's like that one kid, it's like him being weird in like the back, and then this one kid is getting bullied, and then he comes up and they're all fucking scared of him for some reason I don't remember, and then he like leaves and shit, and then he finds the fucking cards, and he's just like, what the fuck is this shit? Who put this in my shoes? And then he goes to the card shop, and then he fights Kamori, and that's it. Right? That's like the whole episode, right? So what? Oh god, please don't argue for like 50 lines about Chrono. I don't care. Please, let's not. For Aichi over Chrono as an MC, yeah, that's because Aichi is the actual GOAT when it comes to card game protagonists. Come on. Not first season Aichi or shop manager. Not first season Aichi or shop manager. But he's good. Yeah, first season Aichi was the best. Season 2 Aichi was like pretty whack, but that's just season 2. Season 3 Aichi was really cool because he really grew and he like did shit. Was that season 3? Season 3 is technically Limit Break, right? And season 4 is Legion, right? Season 4 Legion's kind of a different story. Right, that's a whole other thing. But yeah. I miss Naoki. Man. He used to be my favorite character. Way back when, before I started playing the game, and I was just watching the anime as soon as it was like airing. Good times. Good times. Chrono's arc with Ruzu about him having to remember all of his trauma and accidentally spoiling all of G because I haven't gotten that far. But thanks, Sims. Thanks. I guess I won't watch G now that you've spoiled all of it for me. But I don't know. I just never understood his like. I just never understood him. He just seemed like I don't know. I've seen up to where am I up to? I saw the first season, right? They fought the fucking horny Shadow Paladin guy. And then what happened the second season? Was there a villain for the second season? I don't remember. Why did you bring because we were talking about the first episode. I said the first episode specifically we were talking about. And I said I didn't like him in the first episode specifically. and you go into like the last season and shit. I started specifically the first episode. I didn't have a good impression of him, but I left off fucking. I left off spoilers, I guess, for the only other people in the chat that haven't seen it. But I left off where they like where like for whatever reason the Oatmeal guy became like the protagonist for a while because we were just following him as like his life going to shit or whatever, and he was fighting the like the weird kid that was playing Night Rose. That's where I left off. I think that's like season 3 or whatever the fuck. So we're in the middle of it, right? But I don't know, like something around that time I was kind of like, yeah, she on the story, yeah. Something about it I was just kind of like, I don't know. I started to lose, I guess, interest around that time or something, or maybe because I was playing Vanguard 0, and something about the like format during that time made me lose interest. I don't know what it was, but mid-season 2, I guess season 1 must have been really long. Really, because I feel like they had at least like 3 openings, but whatever. Yeah, and then I just never picked it up again. Say what you want of the last arc of G. I enjoyed the hell out of when the Ultimate Strides dropped. It was the most hype I've ever felt for the anime. I would have not ever watched it. I would have not ever watched it. Oh man. Season 1 with the intro, yeah. I didn't really like that too much, to be honest. I liked parts of like season 1. Season 2 is set up for season 3. Maybe that's why I kind of started falling off in season 2. Season 1 was like fine, but one thing I don't like, right? I don't like Superman protagonists, which is why I don't like Chrono or Akina as much. I hate characters that just like Chrono or Akina or like the Shadowverse guy, where it's just I show up, I've never played this game before, I'm gonna win every fucking game non-stop. I hate that shit so much. So I kind of hated it where like at the end of season 1, I'm probably misremembering it, right? And I'm also a little grumpy today, so that might be why. But I hated it where it was just him like isn't it like 3 episodes straight of him just like plowing through people, just going check crit, right? Like check crit, like oh my god, if he gets a crit I lose, oh my god. Next fight, oh my god, if he gets a crit I lose, oh my god, he checked the crit. But I don't know. So we have to wait till season 3 for the fucker. That's too much, bro. That's too much. I like Akina as a character, but I really hate the fact that episode 1 he doesn't play Vanguard. Episode 2 he learns how to play Vanguard. Episode 3 he beats a tournament player. That'll never make any sense to me. And then what? Episode 5 or 6 he beats another tournament player. Like, I don't know. But whatever. Drugs? Not yet. In like 40 minutes. 20 minutes. Was the Go Ibuki? I don't know about that. He was alright. He made me like Link Joker more than I didn't. So. There were 6 seasons of G? Good god. I hope, whatchamacallit it? Divines get 6 seasons, because I think we can actually get somewhere if they stretch things out like that, but we'll see. I wish he knew a little bit about Vanguard and played games with Hikari and then went to now to learn to be more competitive. Yeah, like I wish they like actually let him build up as like a character or something. Like I spent the whole time like hoping he would lose and then grow from that fight against now, but like whatever, he's just main character, he just wins because he wins games. So like now that like I hate it when they do that, because every time I see the main character fight, right, and because he's the main character, he fights the most, so like I just kind of don't care as much in all of his fights, right? Like after the I like the Welster one, and the fights were like somewhat fun to watch, But like once it got to like what him versus Hikari, I didn't care. Did not care because I was like, he's just gonna win. What does it matter? Him against Sho, he's just gonna win. Doesn't matter. Right? Because like I have no reason to believe that the main character is gonna lose at any point in time. Like they'll build it up. And they actually did an okay thing of like building it up that he might like kind of lose, right? As opposed to the other scene. But like I have no reason to believe he's gonna lose when he's just stomped through everyone anyways, right? So like whenever the main character shows up, I'm just kind of like, whatever. So exactly, yeah, that's a card game anime issue, which they fixed in the first series of this anime, which is why it annoys me when they do it in every progressive series. They just forget what they learned and made different in the first fucking series of Vanguard, which is what made it so good in the first place. And they're like, yeah, no, that shit was stupid. And then they just go repeat the same thing 3 times. So someone who never played Vanguard had Chrono's level of luck IRL. Do you think they cheated? Probably, yeah. You can't have build-up when seasons are 12 episodes long. You totally can, though. You totally can have build-up. They could have done the Fated Clash this season instead of just cramming it all into one season. Granted, this season was good, but they could have just drawn it out. I don't know why they need to like rush this shit as soon as possible, right? Like Fated Clash, get it done this season. Deluxe, get it done this season. Like, why can't you just like take an extra time and like build up for stuff? Like you could have made, it's the beginning of a series, right? You could have built up this first season and that would have been fine. It could have been a banger season, watching the characters interact and develop. And then later on, we could have found out about the Fated Clash and the rules and shit, right? We could have learned more naturally about everyone's wishes, all that kind of shit. We could have had like fun matchups, right? We could have had Now versus Akina. He could have lost to her and be like, oh, fuck. And then later on, you could have the shit where he beats her and that would have been fine. You could have Makoto actually have some fights, right? You could have done a bunch of stuff. But nah, they just gotta cannonball through everything so quickly. Yes, if it was 24 episodes, sure, I guess that would be the answer, but you could still just do it, just spread it out. Right? Even though it's just you have 12 episodes a season, it doesn't mean that you have to wrap up an entire plot in one season, is what I'm trying to say, right? So like I don't understand why they take a plot that would take 24 episodes and try to squeeze it into 12 episodes when they could leave it as 24 episodes. But yeah, like a part 1, part 2. I don't understand why that would be so bad. I don't know. I keep saying it's like a contractual thing and like money and all that stuff, but still. But anyways. Blah blah buddy fight blah. How you of all people would be a mentor out for Akina? I mean, he doesn't need a mentor. He already beat he already beat second place in the deluxe, right? So that's like the second best player in Japan, and he already beat Now, who's like a regional level player, supposedly really good. So he doesn't need he should be mentoring Yu if anything. I don't, well, maybe not, but he just has no room to grow right now, essentially, right? Vanguard had about 20 episodes with set 1 before. I missed those times. Yeah, like it doesn't have to be that slow, but they could definitely do a lot more and use their time more wisely. The issue is that you can have build up in 12 episode seasons, but card game specific animes will have major issues when your big focus is shilling the cards. Yeah, which is why I had that one video about that same topic, but it is what it is. To make you cross there. Bring that stuff back. That's just such a dumb, useless plot point. the seasons before, so they don't know how to build one up. I don't know if that's exactly true. They had seasons before. It's just they were a lot longer and they kind of did it however they wanted. They had a whole, what, 4 years doing seasons with Wildress, so they had enough time to fuck up, and they fucked up there. So they should be able to know how to build up a good season here. Because, like, as much as, like, I'm looking forward to the Vine seasons too, I don't know how they're gonna do all of that in one season, right? Like, it feels like it's just gonna be episode 1. Immediately we learn everything, right? Catch us up to speed, right? They're gonna tell us what happened before, and they're gonna tell us what happens next. Introduce all the characters super lightning fast. Episode 2 is gonna be some random cooldown episode, and then after that, the rest of the episode is just gonna be fight, introductory episode, fight, introductory episode, fight, introductory episode. At like the speed of light, but I don't know. Like I said, I'm very grumpy today. More than usual. Maybe I should just eat. Maybe I should get a Snickers. Maybe if I get a Snickers, I'll feel better. Right. I like Snickers a lot. I used to eat those a lot in college. It's got me through college. It was that and the strawberry Pop-Tarts. I ate the hell out of those in college. Those got me through it. I mean, maybe they're onto something. I don't know. Maybe if I had a Snickers, I'd be like, you know what? Wildress was actually all right. In Divine Season 2, it's going to be okay. They're going to figure it out. Don't worry about it. If I had a Snickers, I don't know. Maybe. We'll wait and see. I don't know. Like, Wildress left a bad taste in my mouth. The Vines restored my faith, but I'm still very cautiously watching into it, right? So I'm hoping they do a good job, because like overall it's kind of the same thing with Vanguard, like as a whole, right? Where like things are good now, but Bushiroad has to somehow just not fuck up from like now until the end of the year, and then like we might be like in a good spot where like Fate is restored and like, right, some of the Doomers go back into the cave for a bit and all that stuff, right? Shops support the game more, right? So there's a lot of pressure on them to just not make any fucking mistakes at all. Everything has to just be straight banger after banger, so we can just get into like a good spot finally. I'll shit myself if the Starkea user gets main character plot armor and wins. I'm pretty sure he will. Oh, he tried it? Tried it. But I'm pretty sure he will. Like, I'm pretty sure they've already hinted at that he's like a important character. So I'm pretty sure he's gonna like end up doing main character-y things. I don't know. I feel like he's gonna be like a Rika kind of character where like he starts out like a rival and then he ends up being like, you know, how Rika somehow became like the second most important character in the series. I feel like he's gonna do something like that. We'll see. Like the Galliard of the season? I don't think so. I don't think that's gonna be the case. But it also depends on like his voice actor, which I hate that I have to like look at it from that type of perspective, because every time they like reveal a character and they reveal the voice actor, I have to go and check and be like, all right, what am I getting myself into? Is this person super well known? Oh fuck, we're not gonna see this person for a long time. Does this person have any major acting credits? Oh, damn it. They might just be, they might end up like, it could go either way. They could get a big voice actor and they end up being a jobber, right? They can get a they can get a brand new person that they can maybe use, right, and have actually the free time to use them and actually make them involved in the story, or they end up using their character as a jobber. I don't know. You just want to call everyone the Galliard? Just gonna throw that name on every character? Well, yeah, that's the main example, right? They get a good voice actor that's well known or whatever, and then they can't use him because he's too busy. So, I guess we can trace all of my issues with Vanguard back to Michiru, right? If they had cast someone else as Michiru, it would have been a huge butterfly effect, which is hilarious to me, right? Because he, I'm pretty sure they rewrote most of the season because they wanted him to be more involved, but they ended up having to put him in a coma because the voice actor was just not as available, right? So if they had actual use of Michiru, everything might have been completely different. Who knows? I'm just being dumb and out of pocket right now. Don't mind me. I'm old and I need a Snickers. But all right. I think I'll do that. I mean, it was kind of that, right? Except that 5Ds was continuous, right? Like, at least for Wildress, they had the breaks between seasons. They didn't have that in 5Ds. 5Ds was just straight ahead, constantly. No breaks in Yu-Gi-Oh, right? So, all right. What's on Tuesday, right? It's Prismed, right? We'll see. I don't know. I've been trying not to test stuff too much, but I'll see if I can find some sort of healthy balance, just because of the fact that, like, I'm seeing like set 2 come out and I'm like, oh man, that's cool. It's a shame I like tested the fuck out of this set and played like every single deck as soon as it was revealed, and I'm already thinking about like a set that's like 3 sets away from this kind of deal. So so that's why I haven't been trying to do as much CFA testing. I want to see if I can maybe transition into doing CFA testing for like current stuff, but I don't know if that's as exciting. Not that the future testing stuff was as exciting either, but we'll see. I have a better game plan, I guess, for Tuesday, because we're getting prisms, and I guess like I can, I don't know. Like, I don't mind testing it like once or twice or something like that. Like, as soon as it comes out, we take a look at it and then we move on. But then we can't even do that anymore, right? Because CFA never updates in time. So I guess I could do that thing where like I update CFA myself, but to do that every stream and only to play with myself, that's too damn much, man. Yes, grade 4 Jack Jewel indeed. That is indeed a card that exists. But I don't know if you're saying to test grade 4 Jack Jewel. I guess I didn't really get anything, right? All I got is Bifrons, which I think it does make the deck a lot better because it is Bifrons. But in general, that does help that deck out. Sorry. Grade 4 love. Grade 4 mag love one. Y'all just got a new ride line. A triple rare and a double rare. What do you mean? What do you mean? Y'all got so many cards. Y'all got more cards than most decks get. Like, that's a lot, man. And you guys got a promo. I don't know. Y'all eating too good. Y'all eating too good right now. I don't know. I don't know if Magnolia needs anything else right now. But all right. Need a new grade 3 Vanguard? Yeah, I know. Don't we all? Get in line, cat friend. Don't we all need a new grade 3 Vanguard? Don't we all? Preaching to the choir. All right. I think that'll do it for today. I'm gonna I'll try and see what I can order for dinner, I guess, so I can slump myself in to like a sad sandwich again or something like that. But as usual, join the Discord if you guys want. See if we can set up some locals and some other fun stuff. And we'll be back Tuesday and we'll talk about prisms and we'll test a bit. Not prisons, I guess. Maybe we can do a couple of things. We can maybe test some of the lyrical girls really quickly. Maybe I'll build some of them and we can just take a quick look at them, right? And then maybe we can like rate them like a tier list or something like that of which is the best and whatnot, because we'll have all, not the whole set list, but we'll have at least all the main cards revealed, right? So we'll do that. But until then, you guys take care of yourselves and each other, play Vanguard, and have yourselves a damn good one. And maybe have